Bryan Fair is the interim president and CEO of the Southern Poverty Law Center. Bryan is also the Thomas E. Skinner Professor of Law at the University of Alabama School of Law, where he teaches constitutional law and rights on equality theory. A graduate of Duke University and UCLA School of Law, his scholarship centers on the 14th Amendment and argues that modern equal protection doctrine has moved away from its original anti-caste purpose. He is the author of Notes of a Racial Caste, Baby Colorblindness, and the End of Affirmative Action, a widely cited and critique of colorblind constitutionalism. Bryan is also recognized as an award-winning teacher, named Outstanding Faculty Member multiple times. His work extends beyond academia into public service and civil rights advocacy. He has served on the boards of major justice organizations and held visiting professorships in Switzerland and Australia. He currently serves as the interim president and CEO of the Southern Poverty Law Center, bringing his academic and civil experience to the organization's national leadership. Now, let me tell you how I actually met Bryan, because he's been in this role for a little while now, actually. And we were in the midst of the 2024 election cycle. And one of the issues that we were fighting against was the suppression of voters from the voter rolls in North Carolina and in Texas, as a matter of fact. And that's really kind of sort of where our paths began to cross. I believe our first meeting was actually with Leader Jeffries. We had a coalition meeting that was organized by Maya Wiley and the Leadership Conference. And then I remember Bryan distinctly sitting all the way diagonally across from me. He was the new guy on the block. I was the new guy on the block before that. He was the new guy on the block after me. And I could just tell by his thoughtful approach, the questions that he asked, that he was a little bit of a different type of leader. And so I think at somewhere in between, actually after that, we ended up meeting with the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, another seminal moment in this movement where LULAC was at the table pressing for Latino civil rights, and Bryan was there standing with us side by side. And we have become friends, kindred spirits, over this period of time. And to each of you, especially you young leaders, sometimes all it takes is picking up the phone, introducing yourself, and offering yourself in service. And so with that, it is my privilege to introduce Bryan Fair.
Thank you all. Juan, thank you for your kindness, your personal kindness to me as I assumed this role. And Roman, thank you for sharing a meal with me and Juan and beginning a conversation about how we might work together through SPLC and beyond. As Juan said, I'm in this role temporarily. The Southern Poverty Law Center is searching for its next president and CEO. I served 9 years on its board of directors and have a deep passion for the work that SPLC does. But in this role, what I've tried to do is to build even broader relationships and coalitions. So when we had the panel today, coalition is a strategy, I deeply believe that. And I want to say a bit more about that. I come to you tonight with a grateful heart, grateful for the invitation to be here and to join you. I too had some difficulty getting here. The weather with flight cancellations, I'm sure many of you face that. So I began my day at about 3 this morning and got on a plane at 6 this morning and was able to get here to be with you today and tonight. Again, to the young folks who are here, I am by training a law professor, and I have an essay online, Preparing for a Career in Law in the 21st Century. If you Google that title, it's a short 15, 20-page paper about accessing legal education. Now, I love being a law professor and have loved helping open up doors for folks who want to go to law school. So I'm just making that pitch. All my contact information is in that short paper, Preparing for a Career in Law in the 21st Century. I have used my legal education, both as a lawyer and more recently in sort of an academic setting, and now I use it every day on behalf of SPLC. The legal training that I had at UCLA has served me throughout my life. And so whatever you're thinking about, if you're thinking about law, reach out to me. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Reach out to me, and if I can help you, I will. I'm grateful to be a part of this coalition and this important civil rights work that we're doing in this moment. This is a challenging time for all of us. But what I don't want to do tonight is lift up the bully who's been in the White House. I want to lift up a tradition of resistance. The resistance in the Latino community, the resistance in the African American community, the resistance in the Asian Pacific Islander community, the resistance in the indigenous community, resistance in the women's rights movement. We have a history of long-standing resistance to oppression. We have had oppression throughout our history, but we should celebrate the people on whose shoulders we stand, the people that opened the doors for us, that gave us opportunities that were unimaginable for earlier generations. There was a time when it was unimaginable that I could be a law professor, in fact, the senior member of the tenured faculty at the University of Alabama. But people fought and opened doors. So I pay it forward by trying to open doors today for others. I didn't want doors open for me. I want doors open for everyone. And that's my mission in my work. I want to share just a few words with you. I think Juan said I just had a few minutes, so I won't go very long. But there's a poem that I want to that you will be familiar with, and I want to use it to frame the rest of my remarks. The poem begins this way: in Germany, first they came for the communist, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialist, and I didn't speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a member of a trade union. Then they came for the Jews, and I wasn't Jewish, so I didn't speak out. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. That's a message about coalitions. It's a message about standing in other people's shoes. Our fight is not just about the individual. It's about the collective. And that's what I see in the beauty of Roman's leadership and Juan's leadership and these coalitions. When Norm Eisen was here earlier today, Norm and Democracy Defenders, Democracy Forward, the Brennan Center, Common Cause, there are dozens of civil rights organizations, a coalition of which forms the Leadership Conference, working to build this multiracial democracy that Janae Nelson spoke of. When I think about Martin Niemöller's poem, for me, it's a poem about complicity. His complicity and others' complicity in Nazism, but there's a larger message to all of us, not to remain silent to injustice anywhere. Many of us gathered here are in a special position to resist injustice because of our skills, our resources, our platforms. I met a person earlier today that has 20 million followers on social media. Our resources. we can use our skills, our platforms, and our resources to do even more than others may be able to do. And most of all, we must not be silent. On the occasion of accepting the 1986 Nobel Peace Prize, Elie Wiesel explained why we must never be silent whenever and wherever human beings endure suffering and humiliation. Wiesel said, "We must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented." Alongside each of you, I am pledging I will not be silent, and I will take the side of justice, not hate and fear. We must see that our children and their children learn all the ways that our nation has relegated many people to second-class status, contrary to the commands of the Constitution, especially the 14th Amendment. If our government bans books, we must create alternate education platforms to resist censorship. We too must courageously resist and fearlessly speak truth to power. And in the words of Gandhi, we, you and I, must become the change that we seek in the world. We must remember always the wisdom of James Baldwin, who wrote that not all things that are faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed unless it is faced. As we mark the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States and its promises of liberty, we must face a government that would deny all of us full participation in this democracy. Under our Constitution, we the people are the source of power. We don't serve the government. It exists to serve us. Our current administration has forgotten that. In this country, there are no kings. The framers rejected a king. There's no royalty. Finally, I want to just share Reverend Theodore Parker, a 19th century theologian, once said in a sermon that he believed that the arc of the moral universe bends toward justice. Martin Luther King would later echo Parker's sentiments a century later. Yet I'm with Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes, who said a page of history is worth a volume of logic. History reveals that the arc of the moral universe bends as directed. We must bend the arc of the moral universe towards justice if we seek justice. We must bend the arc of the moral universe to defeat all of our opponents, in and out of government, who have for generations bent it in favor of their own personal privileges. We must use every tool we have to defeat our opponents at the ballot box, in our courts, in our legislative chambers and assemblies, and in public opinion. We must not sit on the sidelines while some would run our nation and democracy into the ground. Thank you very much.
So about a month ago, I was in Washington, D.C., making the rounds, and Juan said, "We're going to have dinner. I want you to meet Bryan." So we had dinner. It was Bryan, Maya Wiley, Juan Proaño, and Rowan Palomares. You wouldn't believe the discussions we had. I left so inspired that night, and our work just continues, and we will continue to fight for our Latino community because of the words that I heard from Bryan that night. We will continue the fight. Thank you, Bryan.